What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Movement channel. It's your boy Cameron Bash here, and today we're coming at you all with a pretty interesting scoop related to AEW Fight Forever, as just a few hours ago, some interesting tweets crossed our eyes that we just couldn't help but be intrigued by, as they claimed yet another massive name wasn't going to be included in the AEW Fight Forever roster. We're covering deep and interesting news stories like this one on the daily right here on this YouTube channel, so if you're a fan of knowing the ins and outs of the pro wrestling video game community, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss a video. Now, it was just yesterday that we covered the groundbreaking announcement that two of AEW's biggest stars, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler of the FTR, would not be included in the up-and-coming AEW Fight Forever video game. If you're looking for the full details on that story, including comments from FTR themselves, we'll leave a link to that video at the top of the description. But right now, it seems as if FTR aren't the only big names that are going to be cut from this game's roster. Earlier today, when I jumped on good old Twitter.com, I saw quite a peculiar tweet. This tweet came from a user named Scott Perez, and the tweet in question said, "The rumoured internal leak of the AEW Fight Forever roster is interesting. No MJF either." Now, Scott isn't someone I had heard of before, but the reason that this tweet popped up onto my timeline is because of someone else we've talked about and covered on the channel in the past. That person is Mike Straw of Sports Gamers Online. He's the guy who's been responsible for leaking many stories related to WWE 2K and AEW Fight Forever game franchises, and he too seemed to be curious about the tweet Scott was making, as he replied to it with some question marks of his own. When I refreshed the page, the original tweet from Scott had disappeared, and in its place was this tweet that read, "I deleted the AEW tweet. Probably shouldn't be out there, real or not. My bad." Very interesting indeed. So the next question I wanted to answer was just who is Scott Perez? And after a quick and simple Google search, I managed to find his public LinkedIn page. Without going through this man's entire life story, part of his LinkedIn page lists publications that he has written for. And what do you know? Scott has written and published articles on the WWE game series by THQ/2K on OperationSports.com. We know who Operation Sports are, as they are also people we have covered on the channel in the past. While they don't tend to cover too many leaks related to the WWE Games franchise, people like Brian Mazik have been given the unique opportunity to interview members of the WWE 2K team, leading up to the release of games like WWE 2K22. So it would seem like this is a team of people who are very much in the know when it comes to pro wrestling video game titles. Now, this is just a theory, and I don't have any hard evidence to support this. However, based on the fact that Scott Perez has previously written and published articles for Operation Sports, I'm going to guess that this man still rolls, at least in part, in the same circles of people who still write for Operation Sports, and therefore, maybe he has access to information that most of us don't get to see. Maybe Scott Perez was, unfortunately, a small broken valve on an internal, behind-the-scenes leak that wasn't meant to go public until a later point in time. Is that what Scott Perez meant when he said, "The rumoured internal leak of the AEW Fight Forever roster is interesting. No MJF either," before rushing to delete the tweet? Well, I'm sorry Scott, we caught you this time, and this was just too good not to pass up. We did try reaching out to Scott to see if he wanted to add any more clarification to his tweets. We haven't received anything from him at this point in time, but if we do hear back from him, we'll be sure to provide you all with an update. But goddamn, MJF not being in AEW Fight Forever would be an even bigger blow compared to the likes of FTR. It would be even wilder, because just earlier today in an interview with Sports Illustrator, Kenny Omega had some interesting comments to make in the wake of FTR's announcement of not being in the game. Kenny said, "Generally speaking, you're going to see a lot of familiar faces from the early years of AEW, many of whom are still here today. Having that original Year 1 roster is important to us. We're trying to retell that story of how we came into existence." If this is true and this is really what they want the game to be about, then not including MJF in the game would be wild to see. We already see that they've made exceptions for people like Adam Cole and CM Punk to be in the game, despite not being there since day one, and they've bent over backwards a little bit and swallowed their pride to keep someone like Cody Rhodes in the game. So if they're going to go through all of that, just to then go ahead and cut MJF from the game, then that's going to be a really tough sell for a lot of people, I feel. Granted, we need to bear in mind that if MJF isn't in this game, it may not be just down to the developers. MJF could have easily been a part of the reason why he isn't in the game, and perhaps he's responsible for getting himself taken out of it. But man, this situation only continues to sound more and more concerning as we continue to hear about these big stars potentially not being included in AEW's first major video game. What do you all make of this situation? Do you think what Scott Perez posted was true? And if so, how big of a deal would it be to you if MJF was cut from the game? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below, and while you're down there, if you would be so kind, please be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe for more AEW Fight Forever content. Thank you very much for watching this video, and we'll see you soon for another one. Peace.